pundits out there are lying about Arsenal. They're talking rubbish, and in general, they're just trying to create a perception that, if we're being honest, it just isn't true. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that and many other things in this video. Before we do, though, I just want to ask you one quick favour. Just hit like on this video. So there are so many things to talk about, not only about the game yesterday, but kind of the aftermath, like what followed that game. Like the punditry following that game was really, really poor. And there's instances we're going to talk about in this video that shows the hypocrisy, shows the blatant lies and the contradictions that we're constantly seeing aimed towards Arsenal. Like I said, I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. But first of all, I want to ask you one question. What was your thoughts on the game against Liverpool, and who was your man of the match? I'm going to give you mine in a minute, but first of all, just let me know those in the comment sections. So we are going to start this video talking about the punditry. Two people in particular, Roy Keane and Jamie Carragher. Look, at times I actually hear some of their punditry and they're actually really good. They're entertaining. In terms of entertainment value, I listen to both of those guys, and at times they are very, very good. I like what I hear, but there are some times where I'm listening to them talk about Arsenal, and I don't know if it's bias. I don't know if it's the fact that these guys have been rivals of our club at points in their career, so they now feel the need to stick the boot in, have jibes, and in general, like I said, just talk rubbish about Arsenal. There's some comments that we're going to touch on that actually shows that these guys have been talking rubbish. Okay, so first of all, like, Roy Keane was, like I said, caught basically lying at the fact. He said at half-time how entertaining this game is. It's very good. You know, 2-1 to Arsenal. It's a great game. There's plenty of quality. After the game, he comes out and says the game was disappointing and it lacked quality. And I don't know where that come from, because it was only 45 minutes before he was talking about how much he was enjoying the game. And then all of a sudden the game ends, and because it didn't end in a way that he saw fit or the way that he visioned in his head, he all of a sudden comes out and starts lying or backtracking on what he said 45 minutes ago. So for me, that was, I don't know, just a bit strange. I don't really understand why the pundits feel the need to contradict themselves, or, like I said, just speak on Arsenal in a negative way. Is it because they genuinely think that, or is it because they kind of just, like I said, have this bias towards their own club and they just want to stick the boot in on Arsenal at a time when, you know, it's a moment in time. Arsenal maybe going through a bit of a rocky patch at the minute, but in general, the last couple of seasons, you would have to say Arsenal are on the up. Arsenal are in a high position, and these pundits don't like it because they're ex-Man United, they're ex-Liverpool. They can't deal with the fact that Arsenal are now the team that they're aiming for. I don't know. Keane also comes out and said he's worried about Arsenal's mentality. I'll tell you one thing, Roy Keane is definitely not worried about Arsenal's mentality. It's just another reason for him to have a dig at. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on this as well, because do you listen to that kind of punditry and take it on board? Like, are you listening to what Roy Keane's saying and actually finding some valid points in his arguments? Let me know in the comment section, or is this just bitterness? Is this an ex-Man United player just coming out and saying things just for the reaction? Because we know what kind of character Roy Keane is. We know what kind of pundit he is. He says things to get a reaction, and most people are usually on board with what Roy Keane says, or find entertainment value in the way that Roy Keane comes across. I do in certain situations, but there's stuff like this. He's worried about the mentality. I find a contradiction with these kind of quotes from these kind of players, because it's like, look, Man City are the pinnacle of English football at the minute, and Roy Keane was saying a month or two ago that Arsenal need to go there and print their style of play on the game. They need to do it their way. They need to overcome this Man City team that has been so dominant, because Man City's the better team. And if you're looking at this game in isolation, over the past couple of years, Arsenal have been the far superior team to Liverpool. In terms of trophies, since Klopp's been there, we understand Liverpool have performed at a higher level. But in isolate, these last 2 seasons, Arsenal have been the better team to Liverpool. So why is he not holding that same mentality towards Liverpool? Why is he not saying Liverpool are the team that lacked that mentality because they couldn't go on to win the game? Arsenal, once again, have been put in a position where they have to do what is necessary to get points out of a game. Like, we're going to speak about it in a minute, because that back line that finished the game wasn't great. So Arsenal was never going to be able to go on and win the game by 3-4 goals due to the players that we had available on the pitch, we was always going to be suspect at the back because of the personnel that was on the field. So I kind of thought those comments on, I don't know, I just don't really get what these pundits are saying. And I heard what Carragher said as well. Okay, so we're actually going to flash this up on screen. Mikel Arteta is slowly morphing into a Jose Mourinho type of manager. Nobody really thought that was going to happen. Today, they retreated in the second half. And that's kind of adds on to what I was saying in the last little bit. Like, look at the players Arsenal have on the field. How could we have done anything else but retreat in the second half? Like, our defence was weak. When your defence is weak, you have to have the forward players drop back to help your vulnerable defence. If you leave the defence open because you're playing so far forward, you're playing that attacking football that everybody likes to watch, your defence is more susceptible to be caught on the counter-attack and to be in a position where they are going to be more vulnerable. So when you've got a weak defence on the field, unfortunately, at times, what you have to do is ask your forward players to maybe pitch in, help out more defensively, drop slightly deeper so these players are not isolated in moments against some of the best players in the world, by the way. This is Liverpool. This is Mo Salah. You got Darwin Núñez up there. You got Luis Diaz on the wing. Like, these are brilliant players that are capable of punishing everyone. And we've seen the kind of balls that Trent Alexander-Arnold can whip in at any moment. So you don't want to give them the opportunity to cut you open. So what you do is you drop slightly deeper with the personnel you got on the pitch and you shut up shop and you hope to win the game 2-1. It didn't happen in the end. Liverpool went on and got a goal to make it 2-2. All in all, I was kind of happy with the result. 2-2 was okay to me. Before the game, I probably would have took a draw. And people might say that's so defeatist. But Liverpool are so good this season. Arsenal are going through a period where we got so many players injured. We got so many players that, you know, like, look at the back line. Like, the Arsenal finished that game with Partey as right back, Ben White centre back, Kivior centre back, and Lewis Skelly as left back. In isolation, if you're looking at that defence, it probably doesn't start for most of the Premier League teams. They're like in the Premier League. Most teams would, if they had the option to choose their defence or that defence, they probably wouldn't go for that one because they're not all starting in those positions by trade. Partey isn't a right back. Right now, Ben White isn't a centre back. He's done it previously in his career, but right now he's enjoyed the best form of his life at right back. He can do it. I would like him to go on and do it for England, but it's not his natural position. Kivior, he's a good defender, but he's not at the top level, if we're being honest. Lewis Skelly is an exceptional young talent, but you can't say he's at the level to keep Mo Salah quiet or Trent Alexander-Arnold quiet. Like, it's a weak defence, if we're being honest. So you can't expect a team with that defence to play open, to leave their defence, like I said, open to the Liverpool attack. So I don't get what these pundits are saying. Like, it's all you got to do is look at it and judge it. Like, it's situational. The situation dictated that Arsenal had to be slightly more defensive in that second half. There's nothing wrong with Arsenal's mentality. There's nothing about Mikel Arteta that is, it's always Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho, excuse me. He parks the bus in all these games. It's just rubbish. I don't get what they're talking about. We're also in this video going to talk about the game. Like I said, let me know your guys' thoughts on what those pundits are saying. Do you agree with what they're saying? Or like me, do you think it's just rubbish? Like, I've gave you so many examples there of why they're talking rubbish, but I, of course, want to hear your guys' thoughts on it as well. What is your thoughts when you hear them saying stuff like that? Let me know in the comment section. So next, we're going to do like a play-by-play of the game of some of the most important talking points that I want to get your guys' opinions on. Now, for the first time in ages, I wasn't actually able to sit down and watch the whole game. The first half, I sat there and watched every single bit. For the second half, my son had a party. The game was kind of on in the background. You know what it's like, though? You're there and you're socialising with people. So I'm kind of watching the game. I've got people talking to me, so I'm having to take my eye off the game to speak to people. And it wasn't the environment that I would usually enjoy watching football. Like, I want to concentrate and see every single detail. But that second half of Arsenal versus Liverpool, I wasn't able to do that. I've, of course, seen the highlights since. I've been working today, so I haven't yet had the opportunity to watch that full second half back. So let me know your guys' thoughts on the second half. How was it? Because in the first half, I thought Arsenal looked really, really good. I think we looked comfortable. We started the game so well. Saka was absolutely dog-walking Robertson. This player, left back for Liverpool, Robertson, people are saying he's world class. now all of a sudden, oh, he's old. Saka should be doing that against an old Andy Robertson. This is a guy who's 30 years old in the prime of his life, and Saka was absolutely dog-walking him. He didn't know what to do. He didn't have the skills to deal with Bukayo Saka, who's just returned from injury. That, people ask, how important is Bukayo Saka to this Arsenal team? We've missed him for a couple of games, and look at the results. You get him back for arguably our biggest game of the season so far. We're playing first position, and he absolutely dog walks their left-hand side and scores a very, very clinical goal. So Bukayo Saka, big up. Like I said, in terms of man of the match, that is probably the guy that I would pick based on that first half. Like, Bukayo Saka, to me, was just the guy that always seemed to have the better of his man. But in that second half, it might have been someone else that stepped up to the plate. So let me know in the comment section how that second half went, who was the good players, who maybe struggled a bit. Yeah, let me know in the comment section. So I've made some notes to kind of base on some talking points. We've spoke about that Saka goal, very, very good. And then we had the Van Dijk goal. People are kind of starting to say that, is there a problem with Arsenal on set pieces? I wouldn't necessarily call it a problem, but I think Arsenal are so good attacking wise in set pieces that maybe we switch off defensively when we're in those set piece moments. We've seen it a couple of times this season where maybe Arsenal have been hurt in those set pieces, and I would just say we need to tidy up. Jova has been so good on those attacking moments. I think maybe he just needs to kind of redirect some attention in those defensive moments. I think Partey, I'm not going to blame him because Van Dijk can get in front of anyone to score, but I just think he was weak in that moment. He shouldn't have let Van Dijk get in front of him. Like I said, that may be his job. Maybe that would have been someone else's zone and they had to mark it. But to me, I just looked at it and I thought Partey in that moment maybe could have done better, but I'm certainly not going to sit here and blame him. And then you had the Mourinho. He was growing into the game. I think he started off shaky. We saw that moment where he kind of was past the ball and he, like, I don't know if it was nerves, but he didn't touch it. Goes through to Mo Salah. He has a strike, and luckily it was just wide of the post. There was a couple of moments that I was looking at Mourinho and saying, oh my, like, is this occasion too big for him? Like, is he ready to start against Liverpool, one of the best teams in the Premier League right now? But I didn't have, after about 25, 30 minutes, I definitely saw Mourinho grow into the game. And there was just two moments that I looked at and I thought, oh, Mourinho's struggling a bit here. Is it the physicality? Is it the speed of the game? It took 35 minutes and then he was up to speed, and I was thinking, yes, Mikel Mourinho. He did miss that chance though. When Declan Rice whipped that ball in, he should have scored that first one. He almost kind of two-footed it in the air. He just couldn't get his feet planted to make that strike. And there was a couple of moments like that where Arsenal maybe had the chance to go in, I don't know, 3-1 up at half-time. There was definitely some chances that maybe these Arsenal players could have scored. But all in all, like I said, that first half, I went into half-time feeling happy, feeling hopeful, knowing that I'm probably going to miss a lot of the second half, but maybe that Arsenal can still win this game. I was hoping for a win. We got the draw though. But after that, you kind of had a couple of shots, Saka, Martinelli, and I was thinking, oh, we need to start burying these chances because Liverpool are a good team and they will grow into the game in the second half. We've seen in previous games Arsenal start off really, really good, and maybe there's some tired legs in the second half because teams come on to us in the second half. And like I said, I didn't get a chance to see it. Was that the same story with this Liverpool game? Was Liverpool the best team in the second half? Was Arsenal still kind of in the game but maybe dropped off a bit? I need you to let me know in the comment section. And then we had Partey. He's great against the dangerous Diaz. Luis Diaz is always causing problems on that left-hand side. And we know Thomas Partey isn't a right back by trade. That's not his natural position. So for him to perform so well, he might have even been the second best player on the pitch for me up until half time. A couple of the challenges he made was like, I don't know, like Diaz was running at him, and when I see Diaz running with the ball, I think this could be dangerous. But Partey was so measured, and this is an older Thomas Partey. Before the game, I was thinking, if I'm honest, Thomas Partey is going to struggle here. He's an injury-prone, older guy that doesn't naturally play right back against one of the most dangerous and dynamic left wingers in the Premier League. He's probably going to struggle. But Partey, up until half-time, was absolutely brilliant. I couldn't have asked for a better Partey performance, and he might just be my second best player on the day. And then we had Trossard. I think he was so good. Like, the way he plays And I know we had the discussion in the last game about the fact that he was taking corners with his left feet, but just the fact that he can cut, like, it's such a great attribute to have, whether you want to just beat a man by cutting in slightly and then playing a ball with your left foot, cutting in with your left foot and then playing a ball with your right foot. And that's something we saw in the middle of the park so many times to start a counter-attack or to carry on an Arsenal attack. It's just such a great tool to have in the middle of the park. And I just thought, I hope it was the same in the second half, because Trossard, to me, did look very, very good in that first half. And then I just had Mourinho, great goal after 2 brilliant deliveries from Declan Rice. Declan Rice putting in some fantastic balls in that first half. And we had the Mourinho goal. It was so close by first watching, and after a while, like, I don't get why that decision took 3 minutes by VAR. Like, it was clear that he was onside when they shown it. When the goal first went in and they first showed the still, I was like, no, it's going to be offside. Why are they checking it? And then I was kind of like, well, it's onside, so what are they checking? And then it took 3 minutes for them to determine the fact that it was clearly onside, like we all saw. I don't know, baffling. And there was a decision in the second half, of course, that I think Kai Havertz scored the goal. Like I said, I haven't watched it, so I need help trying to understand what happened. Like, why did that goal get ruled out? Someone said it was for a foul, but then someone said it was for an offside, like a minute before, like a few seconds. But like, I don't get why that goal has been ruled out. To me, it looked like a perfectly legal goal. If he's blowing for the foul there on Konate, I think it might have been, or whoever it was where Kivior won the ball, I just don't think that was there wasn't a foul. So I don't get why that goal's been ruled out. And he kind of waited for the ball to get to have it. Like, that's what I don't get. Like, if it's a foul, blow straight away. Don't wait to see where the ball goes. Like, the ball, Arsenal had the ball after the foul and he didn't blow straight away. But then as soon as it goes through to Havertz, who's through on goal, you blow the whistle. So to me, that was just strange. I didn't really understand that whole moment, that whole situation. I don't really get what happened there. So some help on trying to understand that in the comment section will be greatly appreciated. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, as always, if you could just do me a favor, hit like on this video, just like it and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.